morning, everybody. Welcome back to LTL Podcast. I want to welcome everybody in. It is September 5th, 2023. Wanted to break in really quick and just give an update on the Danelo Cavalcante situation that is happening out in Pennsylvania. As we know, this inmate has now escaped. I believe it's going on a week now. Last night, if you were in watching the live stream last night, we streamed for about 4 hours. We had a Twitter feed that was broadcasting in and around the area that they thought they had Danelo kind of captured into a certain area, cornered into a certain area, not captured. I apologize on that. Police had lost the leads and this morning came out with a press conference. Obviously, people and residents in and around that area becoming very frustrated. They're scared. You have a convicted murderer that is now running on the loose in and around that area, breaking into homes, stealing supplies. So it's getting very tense in that area. And the community wants answers. As I said last night, we were following the story and it looked like they had Danelo cornered into a specific grid or an area and had seemed to get out of there. There's been reports that he was seen on a security camera this morning or late last night in the botanical garden that is in and around that area. But we're going to do this is we're going to pull up this story from USA Today. Let me just bring that article up and I will read through some of this article. And then the authorities in Pennsylvania came out this morning with a presser, a live update, and we will get into that as well. Like I said, a real quick stream here. I wanted to just give some, let me get back to my article here. So law enforcement, oh God, I love all these pop-ups. Law enforcement is providing an update Tuesday morning on the efforts to recapture Danelo Cavalcante, a convicted murderer who escaped from a Pennsylvania prison last week. The press conference from the Pennsylvania State Police and the Chester County District Attorney's Office will be held at 8:30 this morning, Eastern Standard Time. That did happen. We will play the presser here in a minute. USA Today will be providing live coverage of the press conference. You can watch it live at the video at the top of the page or USA Today's YouTube channel. The manhunt for Cavalcante expanded to include immediate areas surrounding Longwood Gardens, according to law enforcement, and is still an active and ongoing investigation. Officials are urging people near the area to check surveillance cameras around the home, cars, and to remain vigilant and to call 911 immediately if any information as Cavalcante's current location. Now, he is considered very dangerous. There is school closures in and around that area this morning, obviously, and we know the backstory on this particular individual. We will pull up that presser now that was held this morning at 8:30 and play through this and get an update.
Not changed his appearance, but also that he has obtained a backpack, a duffel sling type pack, and a hooded sweatshirt. Cavalcante is depicted in the photo walking north at 8:21 p.m. and then back south through the same location at 9:33 p.m.
What's going on? Okay, this is not me.
With the superintendents of a number of area school districts. We had assured them that if anything changed, we would promptly notify them. As promised, that notification occurred at approximately 5 a.m., resulting in a decision by the Unionville, Chadsford, and Kennett Consolidated School Districts to cancel classes for the day. We will continue to work with those districts to determine what will occur in coming days. A reverse 911 call was sent out to the residents within a 1.5-mile area of the camera that was located, and that occurred at 5:27 a.m. This was expanded to 3 miles at around 7 a.m. We had already requested and begun to mobilize resources from additional federal agencies last evening to include the FBI and U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. People and equipment from those agencies is being mobilized and added to the search as we speak. We continue to ask for the public's help by familiarizing themselves with the photograph and the description of Cavalcante.
Yeah, me
We're
too.
also asking people in an expanded area from the Pocopson Township area south to be alert and to call us with anything suspicious. We ask them to please secure homes, outbuildings, and vehicles. Cavalcante has clearly already obtained some clothing and unknown other supplies, and we want to minimize any opportunity to obtain anything more. It is important we keep pressure on him as we continue this hunt. We're also asking residents and businesses anywhere in or near this area to check their home and business security cameras and call us with anything suspicious that they might observe. A tip line has been established, and we can be reached at 717-562-2987. That was 717-562-2987. We remind everyone that a reward totaling up to $10,000 has been offered for information leading to the capture of Danelo Cavalcante. What I would also ask is that people consider signing up for the alerts here in Chester County, and it's they can sign up at readychesco.org, readychesco.org. And with that, we will be happy to take any questions that you might have at this time. Oh, and I'm sorry, just one second. If we could display the photos here. I can start with the question why he's getting those photos up. But we didn't.
It was a really good show last night. Thank you.
Yes, we believe he is just south of that radius, and that's why, again, we've shifted that perimeter now to include that area. What I can tell you is I think that what's occurred is that pressure that we've been putting on him is working. We squeezed him hard enough over a period of a few days, and he was not able to get any relief and managed to find a place to get out. Obviously, I wish we would have been able to capture him without him getting through that perimeter, but it is also not shocking. It's dark, it's a large area, and not to make excuses. I mean, it's just difficult terrain and things.
Is this area more remote, or is it more open?
No, actually, I think this is a little more open. I'm encouraged by the fact that he's there. The other thing I'm encouraged by is that we realized within just a few hours where he was, and so he's not had a tremendous amount of time to move a long distance. And so again, it gives us another opportunity to now try and squeeze him within that perimeter.
Do you think you walked across Baltimore Pike? How do you think? I mean, are you looking at the possibility that he crossed that busy?
Oh, we're certainly looking into that possibility. Again, where he was spotted, he was not across Baltimore Pike there. But obviously, we consider anything, and the perimeter has expanded south of Route 1 as well.
Is this trail camera monitored either by law enforcement or by Longwood 24/7?
No, it was a private camera, and an individual checked it and notified us promptly.
It's not a Longwood Gardens camera?
It's my understanding that they allow some others to put cameras on their property, and that individual provided the information.
Any idea how he got the supplies, where these result of burglaries?
I can't confirm at this point where he got those supplies. Again, obviously, picked them up somewhere along the way. So obviously, he got into a structure, a car, something, and obtained some clothing. In fact, we have the pictures up here now. You can see from this picture, he's got a sling type duffel bag. You can also see shoulder straps in another photo here that you'll see in just a minute. He's got a backpack on his back as well. So he's got two packs. He also, in another picture, you'll see he's obtained a hooded sweatshirt. If we can. And so what I would tell you is that, I mentioned that there were two different times. So what we believe happened is he walked into that area, was likely not well oriented, headed north, probably ran into the perimeter, realized he couldn't go that way, and turned the opposite direction and came back through the camera a second time. So this is when, with the pack on and the hoodie, he's headed north actually here. And then about roughly an hour later, he's coming back south without the hoodie on.
That photo is from when? 9:30?
So it's, let me get the time here. It was, the time is an hour off. That's depicted on the camera. I'm sorry, give me just a minute to find my times here. I'll get that for you here in just a minute, but it was about an hour apart. It was roughly 8:20 and 9:30.
We've heard 10:30 for the shirt off, the
I understand that. Again, the time stamp on the photo should be the time stamp is an hour off. It's actually 9:30, and the other one was 8:30 or thereabouts. 9:33 is the one. 8:21 was the first one. So he's headed north at 8:21. It says 9:21, and then he's headed south at 9:33.
So are you widening the perimeter or moving it south? How would you describe it?
We're expanding the perimeter, but we're also eliminating the northern end of that perimeter. So the community that was surrounded by that won't be surrounded by it now. So if you went to the southern end of what we had established previously as a perimeter and go south from there, down and across Baltimore Pike, that would be the current area.
Is this making a mistake then, or is this just another successful attempt from evading authorities at this point?
Oh, I think he's absolutely succumbing to the pressure, and yes, he's trying to escape, and that's what he managed to do. He found a point that he could squeeze through that perimeter, and he traveled south. We'll now expand that perimeter and move it so that we can try and encapsulate him again, and we're already actively searching those areas.
It's been 6 days. I mean, do we know anything more about his background? Does he have any survival skills? I mean, he's been foraging, clearly he's been stealing stuff. What can you tell the public? I mean, this guy's clearly cunning, and he's been able to evade you guys for 6 days now.
We're not aware of any formal training in terms of survival skills. You're dealing with someone who's desperate and who doesn't want to be caught. And so if he can find something, some clothing, if he can find some shelter, if he can find some food, he is going to take advantage of whatever he finds. And that's why, again, we pressure him to not allow him the luxury of rest. And then we're asking the public to help us by making sure things are secure so that we can minimize his opportunities to obtain those things that he doesn't otherwise have. He doesn't have, to our knowledge, he doesn't have caches out there or any supplies that he can go to and obtain, as we've seen in some other searches we've done. That's not the case here. I believe this was just an opportunity that he took to get out of the jail, and once out, he's now winging it, and so he does what he has to do to try and avoid escape or try to avoid capture.
From his mother to convince him to turn himself back in?
We have not since yesterday, and we'll have to evaluate whether we think that will be effective going forward.
Longwood Gardens is closed today. Are you going to be searching Longwood Gardens?
Longwood Gardens is closed, and we will be in that area, not only Longwood Gardens, but the entire area. We will be pushing through.
He could walk to Delaware today if he was able to walk that far. Are you coordinating with officials in Delaware?
We are.
Does that change anything if he crosses the state line?
It really doesn't. There's a federal warrant that the marshals have obtained for him. That's against federal warrant, so it covers us regardless of where he goes.
You would still
at this point, I don't believe he has made it to Delaware. I believe he's still well into Pennsylvania, and we're going to act on that and continue to pressure him. But at the same time, we always look at options. Even while we were looking at that perimeter, as I said to you yesterday, we follow up on any tip. We don't discount anything, and certainly that's why in this case it was a really solid tip. But we've had lots of others. We follow up on those as well, and on the chance that he has managed to get out of that area.
Excuse me.
Certainly, even prior to this, we had already been coordinating with Delaware.
What's the latest on the investigation into how he was actually able to get out of this? Is there any clarity on what happened?
My understanding is there's not going to be anything released on that right away. I think the investigation is still ongoing. I can tell you that there have been many interviews done, and both in an effort to investigate the escape, but also to assist us in looking at any plans, any contacts he may have had on the outside, that kind of thing. So that all factors into it. And unless the district attorney has something else to add, I would just say that we're not in a position to start releasing anything on that yet.
What's the situation at the prison now? Are the inmates still on lockdown? Are the transports going in and out of there?
I can't answer that.
With the search, you all have been saying that it's a heavily wooded area. Can you describe to the public what that means with your terrain? Because some people are saying, "Oh, why haven't you caught them yet? It's been 6 days. Where are the dogs?" That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Can you describe what it's like out there?
What I would describe to you, again, you've heard me refer to other searches. I mean, The terrain here, while one would think, okay, we're not in the middle of a national forest or something else. What you have, though, are significant parcels of wooded area with a lot of undergrowth, so thick that our searchers can't be more than a couple of yards apart, or they at times lose sight of one another. It's so thick that they have to hack their way through or go around and try and make sure that they've still covered that area, because they just, you can't walk through it. That's certainly not everywhere, but there are large patches of that kind of undergrowth in the woods. You know, additionally, one of the challenges that you have here that you don't have out in a larger forest is you've got people with large yards, parcels of land, multiple acres with outbuildings and, shrubbery, landscaping, all kinds of things, sheds that afford an opportunity to hide.
I'm going to pause this really quick and just add kind of a note to this. Buttercup says there's a lot of woods in Pennsylvania. A lot of people don't realize that there is. And, the thing is, too, that's very kind of weird about it, too, is when people think about New York, people just think like New York is New York City. But New York is huge, and it's a lot of mountains. It's, you go into the upstate where it gets up towards the Canadian border. There's tons of snow in the wintertime. You wouldn't think that, just because I think everybody, when they think just New York, they think it's just, like I said, New York City. And New York City is tiny on a map when you look at New York State. New York State is huge. It's like the same thing with Pennsylvania. You think that the state is huge, but everybody, when they think of Pennsylvania, they just think of Philly, right? The city. Yeah, that's Pennsylvania. It's really not. Philly is very small, and then you look at the outer circumference or the topography of Pennsylvania, and it's huge. There's tons of woods, there's tons of mountains. You can drive for days. Well, I wouldn't say days, but you could drive a good distance across Pennsylvania and just be in wooded areas with fields. So that's how that terrain is out there. It's very similar to like Massachusetts, where I live. I'm in kind of the city area, but as you get out into Western Mass, that's all mountains and trees and fields. So everything starts to get spread out and very heavily wooded.
Again, none of it insurmountable, but it makes for additional challenges when you're searching those areas. There are a lot of places that someone can hide. And again, you would think, we're in a closer to an urban area here, there wouldn't be all of these forests. There are. And
what's the long-term game plan here? It's been 6 days. If this goes into a 7th, 8th, goes into next week or a month, are you going to start scaling?
I'm pretty knocked down, Lee.
The long-term game plan
was rough.
As long as we believe we're being effective,
couldn't sleep last
and I
night.
do believe
Choking
we
a
will
lot.
continue with this search. We will continue a hard search, and we'll capture them. We've had searches that have gone well in excess of a month. We've kept the pressure on. He's a bad guy. He needs to be in custody, and we're determined to capture him. So as long as we have the ability to identify areas that are suitable,
keep in
for us to
mind,
be searching, we will.
This is in
continue to
Koberger
do that.
country.
And again, I'm
Koberger
confident
country.
that in the long run, he will be captured.
You mentioned the hooded sweatshirt. What's the current description? Do you have a clothing description?
I don't have a color or anything on that sweatshirt yet at this point. We're still analyzing some things. One of the challenges is with a picture like this, it's night vision or infrared. And so colors don't translate easily. We're having some people take a look at it and see if we can
Bears,
make a determination
coyotes
from it, but I don't have a color or anything to provide you at this point.
How did it come about that state police started leading the investigation, and moving forward, could that potentially change if this goes on longer?
Well, as I said, that was a decision that was made in conjunction with the district attorney's office. We looked at where that search area had expanded to, the types of resources and things that needed to be brought in. And so we've done these, and it seemed to be a natural progression. And again, nothing changed in terms of our working relationship. We've worked well with the DA's office. That continues. They're an integral part of this investigation. And I anticipate that state police will continue in the lead. Again, we'll have to assess that, but we've got our federal partners in here as well, and we're already coordinating with adjacent states. So, I think we're doing everything we can to ensure that we contain him as best we can until we capture him, and to have a contingency in place should he squeeze through again.
Hello, UK. Thanks for dropping in.
Yesterday, from the perimeter, is that
Yes.
technique to kind of push inward?
There was a push that was done because of an additional sighting. We were pushing through there anyway in different parts of the perimeter, but there was specifically a push that was done in response to a sighting from within the perimeter, and that continued on for several hours last evening and well into the evening.
I'm going to pause this really quick and just talk about that. So perimeter, what they're talking about is when an inmate escapes a prison, what they will actually do is take a map and draw grid lines and give it quadrants. And what they will do is work from a specific area in. So they may have law enforcement out on the outer perimeter and they will work their way in or work, however their system works. Maybe it's north to south, south to north, whatever it may be. And they will literally grid that area, go through and search areas. And essentially what that does is it pushes the inmate into a certain area or essentially flushes them out. So when they're talking about the grid, that's essentially what they're talking about here.
No, the perimeter stays intact, and we move additional people inside there, typically tactical team members, and we utilize them to come to push through and push toward the perimeter.
Just to clarify, so the FBI and Customs have just now joined, or have they been part of this to begin with? And to clarify, are all schools in the area closed now?
The FBI and Customs have been part of this from the standpoint that we have been working with them on some analysis and planning some other resources. They are sending some tactical teams and some equipment to join the search effective today. And I'm sorry, the other question was about the schools.
Yeah, are they all closed or just?
No, those two districts that I mentioned.
What's the number of personnel on the ground?
I couldn't give you a firm count. I would have to estimate 200 or 250. It may be a little higher. And keep in mind, that's at any point in time. This is a 24-hour operation, so we're cycling people in and out.
Do you have any idea how many calls, how many tips you all have received? In the hundreds, dozens?
Probably somewhere in excess of 100.
You mentioned the new search area is a little bit more open than
Sorry, guys, I'm not feeling well.
It doesn't change the methods. It changes the effectiveness of some of the technology. Some of it obviously is we're better served by it in some of the more open areas, but it really doesn't change the fact that our path forward here is to keep pressure on him and to search those areas, whether using technology, whether physically searching it, sweeping through. Even in the more open areas, you still have, again, a lot of places to hide. Homes, businesses, outbuildings, and on, that all present an opportunity for him and a challenge for us. But again, I'm confident that he will slip up. He did here. He walked into a cam, didn't know it.
Today.
He'll slip up. We're making him move, and that's a good thing.
So you said one additional sighting yesterday. Does that mean 5 credible sightings now?
Yes, plus the trail cam.
Okay.
So the 5th would have been within the perimeter, and then now the trail cam just to the south of that old perimeter. Excuse me.
What do you say to the community now with these credible sightings? People out there, posting on social media, they're afraid. What do you say to them?
No, it's not COVID. I'm going to probably test when I get off.
I do understand and empathize with their concern. As a parent, I would be concerned for my children's safety, grandchildren's safety as well. So I understand that. What I would tell them is, again, we're asking them to be alert, to just take, I don't know that there's such a thing as ordinary precautions, but use some common sense. We're not trying to lock people down. At the same time, they should use some caution. They should be observant as to what's going on around their home and their yard, that kind of thing. As I've mentioned, we're asking them to lock their vehicles. If they don't ordinarily do that, or ordinarily they would run in for a few minutes into the house and not lock their car, please lock the car and pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to your neighbors. Anything that's unusual there, in the event they're not home, perhaps we can get a call and end this quicker. But really, it's vigilance that we're looking for from people right now. He's clearly in escape mode. but he's desperate. So his history is that he's a dangerous individual. And I know that sounds contradictory. Well, he's dangerous, and I'm not saying lock down. If we identify that he's in a very specific area, my recommendation then would be stay in your homes. And we will message the people if we truly have him locked down into a very small area, much like we used reverse 911 this morning. We have the ability to do that. We can use the Chesco alerts. We'll get word to people if we need them to take more decisive action. For right now, again, being alert and talking to us. Check your security cameras. Provide us any information that you think might be helpful.
Thank you so much, Delano. I'm going to check and test myself for COVID again when I get off this stream.
Correct. I would be, if I were staying home and my home was in there, even while I was in the house, I would have my doors locked.
I was negative yesterday. I tested, but I'm going to retest again today. And I know sometimes, but it just feels like a regular cold. I have a co-worker that has the same thing. I actually got it from her because we've been working together for like the last week together, and she's been pretty bad too, but she's tested and been negative for COVID. I've had COVID twice, and it just doesn't feel like that. It wasn't like a head cold, but my sinuses were blaring last night, just dripping into my throat, waking me up every 2 hours. So, it might just be a cold, but I'm going to test for COVID. We got about another minute on this, and I have a couple of news updates for the news that I'm going to play, and then I'm going to bounce out of here. If we get any updates further on, that I'll come back live. I have today off, so I can keep monitoring this specific situation. And then tonight, after the stream ends, just wait. It'll take you over to my stream tonight, and we're going to talk about Maui, Lahaina tonight. What the hell is going on over there? And if this story breaks tonight, we'll pause the Maui Lahaina stream, and we'll go live again tonight if they are out there searching, and we will continue to follow this case as well. So hang in here. We got a couple more minutes before I take off, and I have some things I need to do today, but I'll keep my eye on this case. Like I said, after the stream ends, it's going to take you right over to tonight's stream. Obviously, that'll be in a few hours. It's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you can set your reminder. And if you can't watch it live, I know you always see it on the replay. But and if anything breaks in the Danelo Cavalcante inmate search, I will come back live this afternoon and give you some updates. Or possibly, if they feel that they're going to get him tonight in that live stream from the Twitter, Nick the Hat, I believe that's who it was, I'll go live again and broadcast that tonight for you all. All right, let's play out this last minute, and then I have a couple of mainstream news reporting on this as well.
But I wouldn't feel like I was a prisoner in my home. If I need to go to the store, I'm going to go out, get in my car, and go to the store. That's what I mean, I guess, when I say take some precautions.
There's a lot of people getting COVID
but at the same time, we're not asking people to stay as prisoners in their homes.
Just really quickly, I know there initially there was concerns that he had some contact.
Please smash that like button.
Area. They've been consulted. Is there any dialogue there? Any chance of contact with any of them?
At this point, any interviews or anything else that we would have done will remain confidential at this point. I wouldn't want to disclose, but rest assured that any family, friends, associates, contacts, even from jail, we have run all of those things out, and we continue to run those out, looking for anything that might be helpful.
Okay, I think that's the end of the
I believe we'll be sending these photos out. We'll make them available to you electronically if you would like those. And I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your assistance getting this word out to the public.
Okay, I got a couple more here that I'm going to do really quick. Escape killer Danelo Cavalcante. Little 3-minute burst here from ABC Chicago.
We got several updates today on the intense manhunt for an escaped prisoner in Chester County. Authorities said there have now been 4 credible sightings of Danelo Cavalcante since he broke out on Thursday, leading them to believe he's still in that area. Residents today being told to stay vigilant. Action News reporter Maggie Kent joining us now live in Pocopson Township once again. Maggie, you spoke with a man today who says he saw Cavalcante on Friday?
Absolutely terrifying experience, Brian. Ryan Drummond says that he was inside his home on Friday night. Now, Drummond lives here within this 2-mile search radius, closed to through traffic. All of the neighbors here in this wooded area, 2-mile search area, have been basically locked down since then as U.S. Marshals and state police continue their search.
My wife, I said, hey, I think there might be somebody downstairs. Get on the phone.
Ryan Drummond claims he saw Danelo Cavalcante, convicted killer on the run from Chester County Prison for 5 days now, inside of his home on Friday night around 11:45. After hearing rustling downstairs, Drummond says he rushed to his upstairs landing.
What I decided to do was flip the light switch on and off, 3 or 4 or 5 times, pause, and then he flipped the light switch from downstairs 3 or 4 times, which was the moment of like, oh my God, this guy is down there.
After making sure his children were sleeping in their beds, Drummond says he watched Cavalcante walk out of his home.
I saw him walk out of the kitchen and through our living room, kind of along the side, opened up that door, walked out. He was wearing a white shirt, had a bag.
Police arrived, but the man escaped back into the thick wood and brush after taking some food.
Peaches, apples, green snap peas had been missing. We have a bunch
of... I'm thinking this guy has some survival training or maybe some military training or did something like that. I mean, to elude police the way he has in the last 5 days, I mean, it's got to be something like that. Almost going on a week now or close to a week.
Little steak knives. It's possible that he could have also taken one of those.
State police leading this manhunt say there have been 4 confirmed sightings of Danelo Cavalcante within this 2-mile search area around Chester County Prison, with 2 break-ins recorded.
We can confirm that we have
investigated
actually 2 burglaries.
When asked about Drummond's account, state police remained intentionally vague.
That's within the search area, and yes, we have investigated a number of things within that search area. I don't want to get any more specific.
Again, Cavalcante was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison just 2 weeks ago. He's convicted of murdering his ex-girlfriend in 2021, and he's also wanted in his home country of Brazil for a 2017 murder. All that to say, investigators say this man is extremely dangerous. You should not approach him, and they say they are here out in force. So if you do give them a call, if you do have a sighting,
jungle,
they'll be there within moments. We're live in Pocopson Township. Maggie Kent, Channel 6, Action News. Brian.
All right, let's go to this here. Another presser from the other day. All right, let's play this here.
Conte now in day 5.
Fox 29 Philadelphia.
Escape prisoner on the run. This is the 10 o'clock news. I'm Jason Martinez.
I'm Sheba Russell. Tonight, law enforcement is warning that Cavalcante is likely desperate after several people reported seeing him in Chester County. Cavalcante had been serving a life sentence in the brutal murder of his ex-girlfriend when he escaped Thursday morning from Chester County Prison. Since then, he has been spotted at least 4 times, including Saturday morning in Pocopson Township. And that's where our Chris O'Connell is live.
And Chris, you've been following the search all night.
That's right, Jason. Pennsylvania State Police believe that Danelo Cavalcante is hungry, he's thirsty, may become desperate and start making mistakes. And tonight, as the manhunt for the convicted killer enters its 5th night, police believe they are closing in. In the air, search helicopters over Pocopson Township tonight. On the ground, state troopers stationed every 100 yards, some with long guns, stopping drivers along Lenape Road.
He is desperate. He does not want to be caught. He has very little to lose at this point.
Pennsylvania State Police revealing there have been 4 confirmed sightings of Danelo Cavalcante, one as late as Sunday afternoon, including being spotted by a state trooper before getting away. 2 nearby homes were also burglarized. The focus, a 2-mile radius around the heavily wooded area near routes 52, 926, and Lenape Road. Police think Cavalcante hasn't gotten too far since his escape from the Chester County Prison Thursday morning. They also think they are close.
We'll continue to push him hard. I intend to stress him. I want to push him hard. He'll make mistakes. He'll show himself. He's already shown himself, we believe, a few times. will contain him and we will eventually catch him.
A lot of neighbors are just on edge, you know.
Nervous neighbors living in an area known for the famous Longwood Gardens and Brandywine
Coburger
Battlefield has a
country.
much different feel tonight. Those living inside the search zone are being told to keep
Coburger
inside their
country.
properties and watch
Excuse me.
out for anything unusual, as a $10,000 reward is being offered for the killer's capture.
It's like a needle in the haystack, right? You can, if you pan behind us, you can see there's really everywhere to hide, let alone in somebody's garage or somebody's house, God forbid. So we got hundreds of people out here looking, so that's really all we can ask for.
Police think Cavalcante's appearance hasn't changed much. He was seen Saturday on a doorbell camera wearing prison pants, a light-colored shirt, and white sneakers. A message from his mother speaking Portuguese over a loudspeaker was broadcast over the search area this weekend in hopes of convincing the 34-year-old killer to give himself up peacefully.
If he is not actively surrendering, deadly force is authorized.
Do it.
Now, after guidance from law enforcement, area schools, the Unionville Chadsford School District, as well as nearby Westchester University, will have classes tomorrow. We also heard from the Chester County District Attorney tonight, who revealed this was the second prison escape from the Chester County Prison in the last 4 months, guys. But the manhunt tonight for Cavalcante continues, and I don't know if you hear a search helicopter hovers above me tonight.
All right. Well, we know that's
So
comforting.
we covered that last night. There was a live stream. I believe the gentleman's name was Nick the Hat that was streaming it out. We did about 4 hours on it. It stayed up till about midnight, and there was no action. But again tonight, let me just, I got a couple more here. I apologize for my voice. I'm under the weather and haven't been feeling good. This was about 21 minutes ago. This is live from CBS Morning.
Police in Pennsylvania say they may be closing in on a convicted killer who escaped from prison last week. Danelo Cavalcante was about to begin serving a life sentence for murdering his ex-girlfriend before he fled, and authorities now believe they may have him isolated in a heavily wooded area outside of Philadelphia. Brandon Goldner from our CBS Philadelphia has more. Brandon, it's been a long time here. Good morning.
This was 21 minutes ago. This was posted.
It really has, Tony. Good morning. Police in Chester County have been urging residents to remain vigilant, especially those who are coming back from the long holiday weekend. Police say Danelo Cavalcante is considered extremely dangerous. And after days...
I guess that's one constitution that if people left for the long weekend, they were out of that area. But it is still scary because this particular individual could break into a home, or, pop up in someone's home when they come home from their vacation. He may be hiding in there, and that would be just scary enough as well. So all right, let's keep playing through this here.
On the run, could be looking for new ways to sustain himself.
I intend to stress him. I want to push him hard. He'll make mistakes.
Smash that like button if you're in here. We'd like to get the stream up to about 100
likes.
likes.
Killer Danelo Cavalcante enters its 6th day. Police are hoping he gets desperate.
He does not want to be caught. He has very little to lose at this point.
Authorities have turned to a recording of Cavalcante's mother urging him in Portuguese to peacefully
You can see
surrender.
the area is very...
It's being played.
Go back and look at that really quick, that search area. I mean, you can see it's pretty heavily dense. You have a lot of long grass, down trees, a lot of shrubs.
To a recording of Cavalcante's mother urging him in Portuguese to peacefully surrender. It's being played from helicopters flying over the search area and cars on the ground.
They are putting clearly a lot of manpower into this. He's just very slippery.
I can't believe we haven't caught him yet with all the resources we have.
As nearby residents return home from a holiday weekend away, officials are asking them to remain on high alert and check for signs of anything suspicious.
See if anything's been disturbed. Are you missing a backpack? That could fill in some voids for us.
Police now believe they have Cavalcante surrounded in a heavily wooded 2-mile area.
While there are a number of challenges, we are confident that if he is in there,
this presser
we will
here.
find him.
He was
welcome
last
everybody into
spotted
the chat.
Sunday
Thanks for
after
coming over to
surveillance
LTL
video captured him
Podcast,
the
hanging
day
out with us.
before, just a mile and a half from the Chester County Prison he escaped from last week.
We want it to be over. It's been a really scary couple of days here in the community.
Nice houses in that area too. Wow, really nice houses.
And the Kennett Consolidated School District just announced this morning that they will be canceling classes today after receiving an update from law enforcement saying the search situation has evolved. Gail?
Yeah, very scary stuff there. Thank you very much, Brandon.
All right, let's go to one more here. I have from Good Morning America. This was posted about 21 minutes ago. Let's see what they have to say on this as well. Probably pretty much similar.
Convicted murderer who escaped a Pennsylvania prison last week. Police are focusing their search after he was caught on surveillance video this weekend. Trevor Ault is on the scene in Pennsylvania with the latest. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning, Michael. So authorities say they're now shifting the search area for this convicted murderer. They say last night he was detected twice on a residence trail cam, and it was just to the south of the area that law enforcement had already closed off surrounding the prison. They're confident this escapee is going to slip up soon, but as they've stressed from the very beginning, he is extremely dangerous.
This morning, Pennsylvania authorities say they're zeroing in on a violent escaped inmate who's now been on the run for 5 days.
While there are a number of challenges,
there. I know a lot of people
we are
asking about
confident
canine.
that if he is in there, we will find him.
34-year-old Danilo Cavalcante was on the verge of a prison transfer when he managed to escape the Chester County Prison just outside Philadelphia. He's been convicted of the murder of his ex-girlfriend in broad daylight. At a press conference Monday, law enforcement said since his disappearance, there's been at least 4 sightings of Cavalcante, all of them within a 1 to 2 mile radius of the prison. They're also investigating a pair of burglaries in that area for which Cavalcante may have been responsible.
He is going to be looking for a means to sustain himself. He's going to need clothing. He's going to need food and just to get in and out of the weather.
Authorities are now broadcasting a recording from a helicopter of Cavalcante's mother encouraging him in his native Portuguese to surrender peacefully. Some nearby schools, which
you can see that area. Look at it. Very dense wooded area. Lots of hiding spots. A lot of really nice homes, big houses. Probably have garages, sheds, stuff like that. There's a water. You can see these little ponds. There's water source. So this guy's he's smart. And that's why I keep saying, did he have any type of military training? They haven't said anything about that, but maybe living, in Brazil, being familiar with the jungle, being able to blend in and know his surrounding the area and be able to just kind of blend in. That's essentially what's going on here. So we'll keep playing this one out. And then I have one more from CNN and then I do have to go. But if anything pops up here, I will try to come back live and get some live updates. And I have the Maui Lahaina stream planned for tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After this stream ends, it'll take you over there. You can set your reminder. If not, if we have any breaking news in this case, you can come back here to LTL Podcast. I will broadcast that live as it breaks, and hopefully they can catch Danelo Cavalcante today. All right, let's take and finish this out, and then we're going to go to CNN really quick.
Canceled classes as the search continues.
It's one of the last few days of summer, and there are children who, instead of celebrating with their families in swimming pools, are in a perimeter where there's police officers in their yard checking their swimming pools.
Authorities have not yet confirmed how Cavalcante escaped. They have confirmed there was another separate escape from the same prison just a few months ago.
The prison is very aware of whatever vulnerabilities they have, and they have made efforts to correct those vulnerabilities.
And that trail cam footage shows Cavalcante's picked up a few things, a hooded sweatshirt and a couple of bags. If he does not actively surrender, authorities are authorized to use deadly force. George?
Okay, Trevor, thanks.
All right, let's go to CNN really quick. Not my favorite news station, but they are reporting on this.
As you know, on the morning of Thursday, August 31st, inmate Danelo Cavalcante escaped from the Chester County Prison. Since the day of the escape, there have been several credible sightings within an area I described to you yesterday within Pocahontas.
I'm going to speed this up because we have heard this presser, but I want to see
Cavalcante last evening within that
the anchors are talking about. Let's go here.
Pennsylvania, related to an individual who is a convicted felon with no prospect of actually getting out of prison for murder. He's been on the run for 6 days now, and they're just giving an update in a press conference for the first time. Joining us now, CNN's Danny Freeman, Casey Jordan, criminologist and behavioral analyst and attorney, and Charles Ramsey, CNN senior law enforcement analyst and former Philadelphia police commissioner. Danny, as our correspondent that's been on the ground there for the entirety of this search, what stood out to you? What was the biggest news that you took away from that?
Well, the biggest news, Phil, is what we were teasing a little bit earlier in this hour, that it does appear now that this search has expanded quite a bit. Initially, law enforcement officials were saying that the search was really focused to a 2-mile radius just south of the Chester County Prison where we are right here. But now, last night, law enforcement officials say that this man, Danelo Cavalcante, was actually spotted on trail cameras in Longwood Gardens around 9:30 at night. I hope we have the images. You can see him. It's kind of an eerie picture. It's him shirtless with a backpack, still potentially wearing the prison-issued pants. Again, captured on a trail camera around 8:21, and then again at around 9:30 last night on Monday night. And Phil, I just want to describe Longwood Gardens just for viewers, in case they're unfamiliar with this particular area. It's a very popular tourist spot. Also, locals in the greater Philly region, they enjoy going there. It's a 200-acre sprawling space with a lot of gardens, a lot of lush open meadows as
Chester
well,
County,
and also
that's Coat Burger
winding
country.
paths. And this Longwood Gardens had been closed because of the investigation during part of the weekend, but then it seemed like the search was being focused a little bit north of there. Now, in this press conference, we just learned the Pennsylvania State Police said that they've
up to 100
cleared
likes. I
some of the
appreciate
more
that.
northern
You can just
parts of their
smash that
search,
like
and
button
now they're
really
looking
quick.
at
It's free to
Longwood
do
Gardens.
that.
But again, like I said,
We can get the
200
stream
acres.
out,
It's a huge
get it out to
space
everybody,
there.
get some news out
And
there for
we've been
everybody.
seeing a lot of
Thank you.
Pennsylvania State Police troopers and other police presence all surrounding that area there.
Commissioner Ramsey, you were the police chief in Philadelphia. As you listened to this and you heard that they saw him again, someone saw him again last night, and that he's getting into structures or buildings and getting clothes, and one would think maybe cash, some sort of food, sustenance. What are your biggest questions this morning as they now expand the search radius?
Well, first of all, they're doing the right thing. They've adjusted their search area. They did recommend, and they followed the recommendation to get those schools closed. It's not so much that the schools themselves
and I'm working
are in danger,
my
but you have to
channel
look at the area
because I love
where
being
the
here and
students
being
are
here with
drawn
all of
from,
you.
because now you got kids that'll be standing on side
being here
roads and
today.
so forth, waiting for buses to be picked up. So you don't want to expose them to anything at all. He's already apparently made entry into something. It could be a vehicle, could be a shed, could be a home. And that's why you see the change of clothes, you see the backpacks. He needs money, he needs food, he needs transportation. And so he's still desperate, and he's going to continue to do whatever he can do to get out of that area, because right now he's pinned in. And it's difficult terrain. It's taking time to be able to thoroughly search it, but eventually they'll get him. But in the meantime,
thank you, Steph.
just
We appreciate you
hope that
here.
no one
Thank you.
else is put in any kind
Important
of
to get the
danger,
story out
because
there,
he is
so thank you.
desperate, and he will break into a house. He will carjack a vehicle if he can.
Thank you so much.
Those kinds of things you
Appreciate
have to be very, very concerned about. And he may have access to a weapon now if he broke into a home. He could have a knife. He could have an edged weapon. He could have a gun.
Casey, to Commissioner Ramsey's point, I think this is my question listening to the press conference, that this was kind of framed as a positive result because they have the stress efforts, the pressure on him are working. That's why he went outside of the search radius. Explain that if you can, because it's been 5.5, 6 days at this point.
I'm feeling under
and
the
they're
weather,
trying to
so thank you for
triangulate
asking.
the information. They're getting a lot of tips. Now, we know that at least 2, maybe up to 4 burglaries in that area could be attributed to him. And of course, we have that really surprising testimony of the man. He broke into his house in his kitchen, and he flashed the lights 5 times, and the guy flashed the light back. I mean, the temerity of that, like, thanks for letting me go, and out the door with food. But people will be missing that duffel bag, that sweatshirt, that backpack. And the more they can ask the public to help, has anyone taken clothes off your clothesline? Has anyone broken into your shed or your basement? You have to remember he had the foresight to escape on Labor Day weekend. So a lot of people have been away and may not even know that their homes or garages have been broken into. As they get that data, yes, I believe this is him who broke into my house. They will be able to get a clearer path and map it out where they think he is going. And that's why they keep expanding the perimeter. I think it would be really helpful if they mapped it for us, if they showed us exactly where the sightings were, where the burglaries were, because the public, I'm convinced, are going to solve this.
You know, and that's the thing, you know, with true crime now, with everything that goes on in true crime, because we have access to so many things. We have YouTube, we have Twitter, we can watch planes where they're circling, we can see searches, we can monitor the radio waves, we can monitor CB radio, we can monitor police channels. We have information through texting, through local people that are on the ground. You know, last night, if you're over here with LTL with us last night, you know, I did about a 4-hour live stream of a person, I believe his Twitter handle is Nick the Hat, and he was streaming live from in and around the area where they believe that they had Danelo Cavalcante cornered. And we played that live stream. We listened to the commentary through that, shared a lot of information. A lot of people that came into the chat were from in and around that specific area and just kind of telling us about the area itself. But it's just it's crazy. You know, you would think, you know, 10, 20 years ago, that we didn't have access to all these capabilities, and now we do. And it gives us such, as, you know, crime enthusiasts and crime sleuthers, that advantage to go in and actually peel back the layers of this onion and be able to kind of maybe put some pieces together and help in this investigation. You know, having a YouTube channel, having a platform like this where we can all come into and share information and put that out to the public, that can assist. That can assist people, give people awareness that are in that area, could possibly assist law enforcement. You know, you don't believe me, but, you know, you wouldn't believe that law enforcement watches these streams, believe me, and they probably look in and, you know, and see what type of things that we're talking about, because that may give them a specific angle on a case, stuff like that. So again, just wanted to bring some awareness to this today. I do have to jump off. I have a meeting in about 45 minutes, but I wanted to bring some awareness as to what was going on with Danelo Cavalcante. I will keep following this story. If anything breaks today, and I'm looking at Twitter right now, and there's really not anything breaking in this specific case right now, no live streams, nothing like that, but I will be sure to be back this evening or throughout the day. If anything breaks, you can come back here to LTL. We'll keep following this. And if anything happens tonight where they feel like they do have him cornered in a specific area again, we'll try to find that live feed and come back tonight. But if we don't, and we don't have any updates, I will be doing a stream tonight on Maui, Lahaina, basically talking about what the hell is going on over there. And if you want to join that live stream tonight, you can set your reminder after the stream ends. Just stay here. We'll take you into that, and you can set your reminder. That's going to happen at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do appreciate every single person that came in live today, the new people that showed up in the chat. I do appreciate that as well. And these are the type of things that we cover here on LTL. I have a plethora of content on the Idaho cases, Rex Heuermann. You can go over and check all that out on my homepage. And also, if you want to join, I do have memberships. They start at $1.99 that does support the channel. Click the join button down there. But the biggest thing is that you're part of this community, and you're here with all of us to hang out, share information, give our stories, give our feedback, and point us in the right direction to getting, you know, good, accurate information out. We don't dive into conspiracy theories. We don't get into all that crap. You're just going to get pure news content over here, and we base all our opinions here from LTL off of legal documents and vetted information. So that is my spiel. That is my spiel. I'm going to go COVID test right now, make sure that I don't have COVID, and try to get myself a little better. But again, if anything breaks in the Danelo Cavalcante inmate search today, I will pop back in live. And tonight, if we don't have any breaking, you will see tonight the stream about Maui. Like, what the hell is going on? So thank you all so much. I hope everybody's going to have an amazing day. And again, I will keep you all informed. Thanks for checking out LTL this morning. We're getting into the afternoon. And everybody have a great day and be safe. My name is Brian. If you're first time over here, and this is LTL Podcast. See you soon.